The PepTalk Podcast.
Well, Brianna, happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Drove on over from Hutchinson, right?
Yep.
Yeah. This is the creator of Monday Motivation. It's kind of like a pep talk in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
I love what you're doing over there.
Thank you.
Talk about that a little bit.
You know, with everything going on right now, I just kind of decided that the world needs a lot more positive energy, and I know I'm definitely one to radiate that. So I just decided that people would relate to me because they already do on a daily basis when I talk to them. So that's why I just decided to do Monday Motivation, and every Monday ever since like a few months ago I started.
I think it's great. I think it's great. Even in the first couple that you did, like you just being you.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
You got a lot of your friends and stuff on there, and then I even started chiming in, and I think it's great. I think the thing that's missing right now, especially in times like this, is there needs to be some lights of hope.
Yeah,
some
definitely.
lights of positivity. You know, and before we got started, we were talking about that. Is like when you start changing your mindset to just, you know, be positive, say nice things to yourself, you know, radiate nice things around you. You don't want no bad energy around you. You look for the relationships that have positive energy. What happens is like you start really feeling that, and you're living in that positivity vibe. But what we're not understanding, what a lot of people don't understand, is a lot of people aren't feeling that way, especially with times like this.
Yep.
So it's awesome to have. I feel like, you know, we're in the same boat together. We're trying to do the same thing, and I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. You know, something I want to talk about. It's nice having a female perspective on Pep Talk. First ever female on Pep Talk podcast.
Hey.
So pretty excited to have you. You know, I feel like there's, just to jump right into it, I feel like looking back at things, and something that I had to hold myself accountable on as well, is I feel like a lot of times women's dreams and hopes, you know, when they were younger, things start to happen, and there becomes more responsibilities as a mother or a relationship where possibility that the man is the breadwinner. So the girlfriend or the wife's dreams and hopes sometimes get put on the back burner, and that's something that I noticed with Megan, that she came and worked with me, and I loved having her. She was a resource. She was great to have, but she wasn't able to chase hers.
Right.
And at the same time, I was watching. I didn't really think about it until after I started supporting her, and she started progressing with it, and how it changed our relationship. I didn't realize I was even really doing it. Like I was holding her back from her dreams, her hopes, her ambitions. And that's just something that I would love to have you speak up on, because as a woman, you know, I'm sure you got tons of dreams, goals, and you're getting after them right now. And what do you think about that?
You know, I can definitely relate to that a lot. I think when it comes to relationships, and as a woman and even as a man, I mean, the whole thing about it is you need to be happy first, and they're supposed to add to your happiness. And I think that that's really important to understand. And when someone feels held back, then they're always longing for more. They're always wanting more. And if you can support each other enough in a way to bounce ideas off of each other and really make each other's dreams and realities work for each other, I mean, you're really improving your relationship and your future. And I think that's so important, but a lot of people forget about those little things that really matter.
Yeah, I completely agree. And what I noticed is when Megan went back to school, and she got her social worker degree, and now she's working at UCAP, and she's helping the needy and the people around town that, you know, are having some bad luck and need to catch a break, and she's thriving in it, right? She's
awesome.
Loving it. She's passionate about it. And what I realized is, after having her at the barbershop and having her help me run the businesses for the last 6-7 years, she's in her own lane, and she's having a blast in it, and the relationship has blossomed. Things got way better. You know, I always just selfishly, you know, thought, no, we need to run these businesses together. This is about me, and this is about my dreams and my hopes, and then bigger than that, this is about the family, and this is what you need to be doing right now. And she grinded it out with me, but I would have much rather, looking back at it, I would have much rather supported her a long time ago to get after her. You know, what's your dreams? What's your goals? What do you want to do with your life? You know, and I think when you get into a relationship, so many times it feels like you're clamped together and you don't have your own sense of individual, who you are as an individual, what you want to do with your life, because it's more based off money and children and things that are holding you back.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that it's amazing how much farther you can go once you actually feel empowered and you feel like the love and support that you truly need, especially being backed up by your partner, because that's your backbone. I mean, when it comes down to it, that's your person that you go to, that sees you struggle, sees you succeed, sees you go through all the things. And I think that that's so important to, really get together on that and make sure that you're doing it together as a team.
Yeah, and I was raised a little different. I was raised in a household where my dad went out and he made the money and he made sure my mom knew that.
Yeah.
and there was some mental abuse there where it was like, I'm doing this, you stay home, you take care of the kids, you wash the clothes, you make sure the food's cooked. That old school, old times way of doing things, and I never really got to see my mom's dreams evolve. In fact, I didn't even know if she had any.
Yeah.
So my thought process is going into a long-term serious relationship was automatic like that.
Right.
But I was going to be nice.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to be controlling and being manipulative and say, you do all this, I'm bringing home the money, I'm the man. Even though I felt that way, I felt like it was more so like I felt like that was my job as a man to do that.
Right.
It's so not true.
It's
so not true. Because it's literally like, some relationships are stuck in that for 30, 40, 50 years, all the way to the deathbed, to where it was like, I just stood by my man.
Right.
Or I just stood by my woman. It goes both ways in some cases, but I feel like there's an overwhelming it's more one-sided, to where it's more, stay-home mom type stuff. The stay-home mom's got dreams too.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to change that mindset, and that's one thing that you and I love to talk about, is changing the mindset of, okay, if I think this way, then you start challenging it, and then you got to start practicing a different way, right?
Yep.
To change that mindset to where my mindset now is, I want to empower her, I want to support her, I want to see her do great, and on top of it, there's more income coming into the house, right?
Right.
And there's a steady stream of that, and just the family, everything, and then the biggest thing is, what are my daughters seeing? What is my son seeing?
Absolutely.
Before for years, they seen a dad that was just like, I'm bringing home everything. And I would come home, I'll be honest, I come home sometimes with that mentality, like when things ain't going well around the house, that my mindset was like, I'm busting my butt all day making money to take care of this family, and this is what I got to deal with.
Right.
And it's just so not the right way, not only for children to see, but just it's not the right way to live. I wasn't very happy.
Yeah. I mean, I think even from a guy's standpoint, when they're the main breadwinners, it almost makes it feel like you need me. And I think that that's hard for women, because they also know that they're needed too, because guy might be out doing his own thing and making the money, but like the woman is keeping everything going, so that way you can do that, and she's keeping the kids fed and making sure everything's done at home too. And I think it's crazy how much people grow once they're actually able to do their own thing and feel the support behind each other, for both parties. The possibilities are really endless.
I want to go back to a point that you just made about when a man is doing that, when the man is the breadwinner and your wife is at home taking care of all that stuff. This was a conversation that actually happened recently, to where, do you support everything that I'm doing? Do you truly want to see all this stuff happen? Do you believe in me? Do you believe in my dreams and goals? And Megan responded with, I love that I'm doing my own thing now, and I have my dreams coming true with her career and whatnot. But you need to understand, Steve, that I'm doing all the things that you don't do.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what you just said. I'll take my kids to school, but Megan makes sure they go to school.
Right.
Right. I'll help kids with homework, but Megan makes sure the homework's done.
For sure.
And I don't cook supper because I'm usually not home in time. Megan makes sure the kids get ate. I'll cook them something, but sometimes she's got to remind me.
That's a good woman.
Right, exactly. And like I didn't ever look at it that way. I looked at it like, where's my rah cheerleader by my side telling me how cool I am?
Right.
You know, and that's just ego talking.
Yeah.
That's just your pride talking. But truth of the matter is, like, that was the best conversation we had in a long time, if not the best. It made me actually realize, like, you know what? You got it made, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know, she's doing a lot more than you realize. She does, and that's what she said. She said, I do all this stuff because I support your dreams and what you want to do.
Right.
If I didn't support your dreams and what you want to do, I wouldn't do all this stuff.
Right.
I mean, not for me. She would do it as a mother, but she wouldn't be doing it for me, to where she knows that I need time like this. I need to come out to this podcast at 6 o'clock at night. So her responsibilities are going up.
Right.
So,
I mean, I think it's really good when, you know, the best way to be able to change your mindset is so that way you can see things from a different point of view and a different perspective and really put yourself in their shoes and really feel like what they could be feeling. And, I mean, and it goes for both parties. I mean, guy or girl. But, I mean, if you can really think about the different perspective of things and how that would affect that person, I mean, that's just so much empowerment in your growth together as a couple and as a family. I
agree. You know, let's talk about individuality too. Like like I said, a lot of times you get into a relationship and one or both automatically, it's a couple. We do everything together. We think everything together. We're going to make everything together. And that's just not realistic because she's got her own goals and dreams. I got my own goals and dreams.
Yeah.
But as an individual, what did you do as a woman, or just as an individual, to empower yourself? Like, how did you change your mindset and habits, and when you started to really get after it? Because I know you're getting after it with your career and whatnot.
Sure. You know, I started really focusing on the things that made me happy and the things that I've always been drawn to. And I've always known that, you know, I like to dance. I always know that I like music. I always know that I like a little bit of my own alone time. And, you know, in the past, I was always so on the go and so focused on making sure everyone else was taken care of and everything else was taken care of, my kids, just everything. And I never stopped to actually sit and focus on me and my wants and needs. And so I started doing that, and I started really thinking about what was reasonable and what's not reasonable. And if it felt like it was something that I could do that felt reasonable and there wasn't anything to feel sorry for that, then I went and did it. And I just kind of started soaring. I mean, I really focused on my career and wanted to make sure that I was, you know, expanding, because I don't like to sit and just do one thing. I like to get my fingers in on everything and kind of do a whole bunch of things. And I mean, there's a whole world out there, so why not take advantage of it?
It sounds so simple, right? Like I've been talking about this because it's truly something that made all the difference in my life, was when I finally, after 40 plus years, started loving myself and respecting myself and caring about what does Steve want. Because when you're so caught up on taking care of everybody, whether it's your entire family, brothers, sisters, mom, dads, aunts, uncles, and you're just the guy that shows up, the guy that's there all the time. All your friends know they can count on you.
Yeah.
And not so much that it's one-sided, that you don't even think about you.
No.
You're not thinking about yourself at all. And I didn't realize that until I started thinking about myself. I started caring about myself. And it was a repetitive thing over 11, 12 years that I heard from Megan, was like, I can't do nothing until you start loving yourself.
Yeah. And
it was like, when she would tell me that, it was so foreign to me to even comprehend. It was like she was talking another language. I mean, what do you mean loving myself and care about myself? I do.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
and you truly think you do.
Right.
And whether that's your ego or your pride or whatever it is, nobody wants to think like, I don't love myself, I don't care about myself. No one ever wants to think that.
Yeah.
Until you finally do.
Right.
And for me, it was, I remember like it was vivid, like yesterday, when we talk about it a lot, and the reason why I talk about it a lot, Bree, is because I truly want people to realize it's this easy.
Yeah,
this is how easy it is to change your life. Go in the bathroom or go somewhere where there's a mirror. Look at yourself dead in the eyes and say, I love you. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I could not do it. I bawled like a baby. I'll be vulnerable. I'll be honest. I cried because I was like, no, I don't. And I couldn't look at myself. So then I said, I got to do something about this.
Yeah.
And as an individual, I had to say, I need to start loving myself. Well, how does one start doing that?
Yeah.
What do you think? How do you start doing it?
You know, I think that's really important to talk about too, because, you know, for me, I would feel selfish doing things for me because I could be doing something else for my kids or spending time with my kids or whatever the case may be. I remember when I first started really like focusing on myself and making sure that I was, you know, really loving myself. I had my kids in daycare and I felt selfish for even going to St. Cloud just to go shopping for a little bit. And it was like, I didn't want anyone else to know that I was going. Otherwise, I felt like they would judge me or like I was disappointing someone or my kids. And really, it shouldn't be like that. I mean, in order for you to take care of them is you taking care of yourself first. If you're happy, then they're happy. Otherwise, they just feel all that tension and they feel all that stress and you just end up blowing it up on them, even if you don't even realize it.
That's so true. It's like you set the tone. And I heard this at my house all the time. Like, if I'm in a good mood, whole house is in a good mood.
Yep.
If I'm in a bad mood, I mean, they might be individually having decent times, but it's what I can bring to the table with that spirit and that energy that I could turn the room into a happy place or a very, very dark, bad place. Mm-hmm. And I think what did it for me was like how I started loving myself, respecting myself. It wasn't easy right away. It was a full-blown like, okay, what bad habits do I have? Mm-hmm. Because your bad habits are things you can't stand about yourself, usually. Yeah. Because you know it's wrong, it's not good for you, it's not healthy for you, it's not mentally good for you, whatever it might be.
Right.
And I said, well, I'm lazy in the mornings. Nobody really knew that.
Yeah.
But I knew.
Yeah.
I knew how lazy I was in the morning. Sometimes I show up at the barbershop 20 minutes before I ever even had a haircut. Yeah. Imagine that. I was doing that for years, where it's like, and you know, in this business, you're dealing with people. Yeah. So you're like, you're on stage 20 minutes later. You wake up 20 minutes later, you're on stage. Like it was unbearable. It wasn't fun. It wasn't happy. Yeah. So I was like, I'm going to start getting up at 4 a.m. Yeah. Okay, so that was one of them. What other habit? I'm lazy. I don't exercise. I need to exercise. Mm-hmm. So I add that. I'm a writer, and it's something that I neglected for years. So I said, I'm going to start journaling. Yeah. You know, so now let's just take those three things. You take journaling, exercising, and positive affirmations to yourself. You know, like the mind, like I care about you. I care about you, Steve. I'm proud of you, Steve. Yeah. Like all of a sudden, it started making sense to me. Like, why do I need everybody else to tell me that? Mm-hmm. It's because I never felt it, right? Right. And we're searching for that. And like, why do you make me happy? I can't make you happy until you love yourself. Yep. And it's so true. Yeah. Now she makes me happy all the time. You know, there's still ups and downs, just like any relationship, but it's totally different when you start caring about yourself. Well, most people don't know the first steps about how to do that. It's simple. What don't you like about yourself and change? Yeah. Right? Yeah. I mean, that definitely makes sense, especially even like what you said with the morning thing. I mean, even if you set yourself up to succeed and you're getting up earlier, like you feel better about yourself and about your day even just to begin with. And if that's right at the start of the day, because you don't feel like you're 10 steps behind and trying to catch up all the time. If you can change that, you're changing your mindset, you're changing all of that so that it can be positive, then you feel more refreshed. It doesn't feel so stressful and tense. And you end up going about your day and it ends up being a great day instead of a stressful one. Right. So what's some of the other steps that you think that you've taken in your life that you continue to take? And what are like some of the things where do you see yourself? Like where are you headed with your being an entrepreneur like me and a career in the same field as me? Like where do you want to go with things? You know, honestly, I think, well, for the where do I want to see myself? I mean, I actually would just love to spread happiness like everywhere. I mean, honestly, I love talking to people, bringing
people up and like talking to people and being able to relate to people. It not only makes things easier for me because I'm able to relate and go off of the things that I've already went through in my past, but like making other people happy makes me happy. And I just love being able to spread like that positivity and joy. So, I mean, honestly, I don't even know where I'm going to end up, but like, I know I'm on my way, and I know that I'm meant to do big things and do more in this world. As for the self-care aspect of it, I think it's really important to just kind of like deep think and sit and think on like understanding who you are. Like understanding who you are as a person, understanding how you feel about things, how you go about things on a daily basis, like kind of what you were saying about those things that you don't like about yourself, like what is it that you don't like about others too, and what your situation is, and what you can do to better yourself so that way you can not have to feel like you don't like it anymore, so that way you can really change it so you can like your life. I mean, why not?
Right. You talk about figuring out who you are. I think that's extremely important. But something that I did that my mentor told me to do is figure out who you're not.
Yeah.
Because when you figure out who you're not, you can eliminate a lot of baggage, a lot of stuff that I'm just not good at that.
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
really. But on top of it, like especially if you don't have a passion for something.
Yeah.
I mean, you could be not good at something and have a passion for it. Get after it.
Right.
Like you'll get better. But some of the things that you can eliminate that creates those blocks in your life to where you're just wasting too much time on stuff that you're really not anyways.
Right.
And that helped me a lot.
For sure.
I love what you said about you don't really know where you're going with things. Isn't it fun to live life with just faith?
Yeah.
Like, what are you just like, yeah?
Yeah.
I literally feel that. I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm living that every day. I was joking with a couple of my buddies who driving down First Street, and I was just like, so happy with my life.
Yeah.
So grateful. I was looking at the sun and I was like, I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know where I'm going with this podcast. As an entrepreneur, I got goals, I got dreams and stuff, but I don't know where it's all going to take me. But I have faith that it's going to help a lot of people along the way.
Oh, for sure. I definitely think like that too. I mean, I literally live by faith every single day, and I just like take it for granted. Like I just want everything out of life. And I think it's hard because a lot of people don't necessarily think like that. But if you can open them up to thinking like that, then they potentially can think like that if they change their mindset and they start doing better for themselves. But, I definitely think like that every day too, and I live by faith. It's hard, but, the way that I look at things is like, when it's good, and you feel good. And when it's hard, you grow from that. And
Indeed.
I always tell people all the time, like, you don't have a choice but to get through this moment. You know that you're going to get through it. Like tomorrow's going to come, the next day.
Yeah, regardless if you let it like totally destroy you or if you just keep the faith and stay level-headed and take care of it anyways. You got to take care of it. Right?
Like you don't have an option. You're going to get through it. It's just how you go about getting through it and making sure that you stay, balanced and positive, and you just keep moving forward, because it's just those baby steps and making sure that you keep going until you get there.
Right, and I think what I want to see happen and why we're doing this, I believe in our hearts, why we like to do Monday Motivation, why I do Pep Talk, is that I feel like, man, if I can turn the corner on complete and utter happiness and live by faith and be happy every day, every single day, even when bad happens, when you live by faith and passion and you got purpose and you got all that drive and you turned yourself into that machine that just of happiness and you radiate it. Mm-hmm. If we did it, anybody can do it, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
My what I'm leading with when it comes to this podcast, and I'm sure you are too with what you're doing, is I'm leading with passion, with a purpose that I want to show everybody how to do it.
Right.
Like this is what you can do, and I'm not saying I got all the answers. That's
Right.
what I got a guest for, right?
Right.
Right. I don't have all the answers, but like I want to see people, especially in my community. I love this community.
Yeah, I do too.
When I knew for sure that I wasn't going anywhere, you can sit here and bitch and complain about things, or you can get to work and try to make your community better. Mm-hmm. I say this a lot is like, and I got it from Matthew McConaughey actually, He said, get less impressed and more involved. Get
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
Get involved in your community. Get your kids involved in sports. That's one thing that blows my mind. Like parents, I see them and this and that, but they don't even get their kids off the couch and get them to the, get them to the gym, get them to these places. Get your kids involved. I know what it was like to have parents that, man, Dad, Mom, Dad, I want to play ball. It's like, first thing you got to do is show up.
Right.
Right. So get involved. And I encourage everybody, get involved in your community. But where the passion rides through me is like, if I'm going to be here, I want to try to do something about it. And I'm going to join hands with people that feel the same way.
For sure.
And I want Wilmer, and I'm sure you got ties to Wilmer in Montevideo, and I think you're in Hutchinson now. But like within your community, you want to be a beacon of hope that people can look at this community and say, wow, man, they really got it figured out. They're working together as a team, right?
Right.
So that's what I lead with this.
Yeah, I definitely do that too. I mean, I like to, like I said, even with like my career, but like even when it comes to my community, I like to be able to know that, people can look up to me, and that like not even just like a certain range of age, like little kids, like my age, like older adults, like anyone and everyone. And like, I want to be able to support anyone and feel like it's, I don't know, reciprocated.
Sure. What other things can we tell our audience that they suggest them to do in order to better themselves as an individual within their relationships, or even if they're just single and on their own? I think one of the biggest things I had to do, and this was, I had a big list. You got to get rid of all them things that make you feel some sort of way inside, whether you feel guilty, or, one thing that I've had is I felt guilty over my success towards my family.
Yeah.
Because like they're not as successful, but it's not my fault that they're not motivated to be that.
Right.
And I had to come to terms with that. And I love them all.
Right.
I love my family, but like, why should I be feeling guilty? Because I'm working my butt off for my family, for myself, and for my legacy, and for this community. But my family's not, but I feel bad because they don't have anything. Or, within reason. And I had to have my one-on-ones, and I did, and we mutually respected each other on that. Like, hey, call me because you love me, not because you need something from me, right? And then I had friends, I had other relationships that if you don't get those feel guilties, guilt trips, animosity, hate, anger, rage, all those things that you might have, I've been betrayed a few times in my life. Like, forgive them, love them, move forward, wish them the best, and really truly mean it.
Yeah.
Don't do it like you're just kidding.
Right.
Those are things that if you don't do that, it's kind of hard to focus on yourself. Mm-hmm. But when you start finding a way to focus on yourself, it does get a little easier to deal with it too. So it's like there's like a balance there that you got to start getting rid of that stuff, and then when you start focusing on you and loving yourself, respecting yourself, and changing your habits, mindset, and all that, you're going to realize, well, I still got like 7-8 things over here that on the drop of a dime, they can take everything out of me to where I can't be happy today.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Right.
Find a way to deal with it. Part of self-help and self-love and self-care is to deal with those issues.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. I mean, and like you said, when you start doing a little bit better, it makes it a lot easier as you go on to be able to really like get rid of the baggage or get rid of the things that are really weighing you down. And that in itself will bring you up and make you feel lighter and not so heavy. And a lot of the times people, do things out of love for their, family or whatever the case may be. But then it's like when you get that gut feeling where you're just like, oh, but I don't really want to do that. It's like you got to follow that. And a lot of times you're allowing them to be that way, or allowing them to, keep doing that to you because you're not putting a stop to it.
Right. How many times have you had in your life where you're like, you don't want to go somewhere, or you don't want to do something, but you feel guilty, right? You feel guilty or something.
You don't want to disappoint anyone.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to be let down. And then like 5 minutes after getting there, either you're exactly right or something even worse happens.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then you're like,
Plenty
what am
of
I
times.
doing, man? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing to yourself? Like, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
Now it's about respecting myself enough to be assertive and saying, I can't make it.
Yeah.
Or, no, I'm not going to go do that again.
For sure.
No, I'm not going to put myself in that same position that I did 3 months ago and I got the same result.
Yep.
And some of those can be challenging, but if you really start caring about yourself and working self-help and self-care, it becomes easy to say no.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think honestly, even with the self-care aspect of it, I mean, it's really hard, I don't know, for guys maybe, but like for women especially, to not feel like they have to explain themselves why they're saying no. And a lot of the times you don't have to do that. I know that with my work, anytime that someone wanted to do something, like with my job and they wanted to get in with me, but I knew I could maybe make it work, but I was going against myself, and like I knew I was stressing about it before even saying yes or no, because I didn't want to disappoint them, but if I was saying yes to them, then I was disappointing myself.
Right, so you're like triple booking yourself when you got to pick the kids up in 5 minutes.
Right, exactly. And so then I started learning that I needed to say no, and then I would feel guilty about that before saying no, because I'd feel bad about having to say no. But I realized that when I say no, like, I don't need to explain myself. I don't need to give them a reason like, I can't, I'm so sorry, like, this is why. It's like, no, I can't work, but this will work better. Like,
right, and
what else do I have open?
Yeah, what happens, what we find out, because before we just drive ourselves crazy with feeling guilty, is you find out that most of those people care about you enough and care enough about like what you do for them that they're going to be accommodating to you.
Right.
But it just goes back to being so wrapped up in that bad mindset of just,
For sure.
I'm freaking out and you don't even have to.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, honestly, when you start respecting yourself, others respect you that much more, too.
Yep.
And it's crazy how that just, like, I don't know, always keeps going forward and always keeps doing better for yourself and everything like that, too.
Yeah, and the ones that don't get that, you don't want those people around you anyways.
No, you don't.
Those are your toxic people. Those are the ones that are just draining you. And if they care about you at all or care about what you do for them, they're going to understand.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, they're there for you. And I mean, that's the way that it goes. Like, if they want to get in with you, they'll find a way. And that's, if you're going out and about to go past your boundaries, then you're just making it harder for yourself and you're weighing yourself more down. So, like, your family wants you to be able to come home and not be stressed that you overworked yourself too. So it's kind of that self-love thing where you're taking care of yourself, you're taking care of them too.
Sure. One thing I was just pondering on is, why you're building up an audience and we have an audience and it's like, I ask myself at times, well, why are people tuning in? Why are we helping them? Or why are we getting through to people? And the truth of the matter is the people that have been through the most adversity and the most pain, the most sorrows, the stuff that if we talked about it long enough, we'd probably start crying. Right?
Yeah.
Those are the people that can relate to people, because the truth of the matter is no matter how positive we are and the mindset change that we got, there's a lot of miserable people out there. There's a lot of people that are just not happy.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage, if you can get through to some of them people, right, to change that mindset and to be happier, and it can trickle down to where their help, it's not just this podcast or your podcast helping things. We're not this, everybody starts doing it, right? That would be the dream,
Yes.
where everybody is talking nice to each other.
That'd
And
be
all of a
so
sudden
nice.
it dwindles out throughout a community, statewide, national, bam. And if you don't have people that think that can happen, it's never going to happen.
Right.
If you don't have the mindset like what we're having, we're never going to see those kind of days.
Right.
And in the world that we live in now, I want to see happy.
Oh, for sure.
I want to see a nation happy instead of divided.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely good to be around like-minded people and people that are on the same page as you. Otherwise, if you're surrounding yourself around people that are constantly negative and constantly complaining about this or that, I mean, it's not that you can't move forward, but you're not going to move forward as fast. You got to be around people that are like-minded and are positive, and that's a lot of the reason why people talk to us on the daily because they want to be like-minded. They want to be able to do better for themselves too and be on the same page.
Yeah, and if circling back to what we started this conversation about it, where does it all start? Where does that start? It starts at home. Mm-hmm. Starts at home with your significant other. If you're miserable with your significant other, you guys ain't seeing eye to eyes, or you guys don't support each other's dreams, goals, and whatnot, it's kind of hard to step outside and be positive and to push forward throughout your day. And, so to the people that are like, I can't wait to go to work.
Right.
Check that relationship at home. Get things figured out or move on.
Yeah. That's true.
Because that's where it all starts. I like to see people happy. I'm struggling with a couple things right now. I got a couple people that popped up into my life, and I know that if I just go out, like they don't have nothing. They're down to out of the house, don't know where to go kind of mentality. Sure. Now, I want to direct them in the right areas to go and get some help and whatnot, but if you just start loading money into them, you're enabling them, yep. Right? I remember when I got out of prison, and I had no family that showed up. I didn't have no money. I was dead broke, but I had a T-shirt and a pair of blue jeans, and I hopped a bus 3 times to get to the place where I cut hair.
Yeah.
If I can do that, I look at these guys and I explain this to them. I'm like, you guys can do that too.
Right.
It's finding a way to motivate the misery, or actually, I think it's bigger than that. Now that I think about it, it's like, how do we find a way to get people to even believe that they're capable? To not feel sorry for themselves, to not think, oh, my life sucks, and my mom did this, and my aunt did that. Dig deep, be an individual, and believe that you can do better, and then do whatever it takes to do it. But it just seems like it's hard to get people motivated to do that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, a lot of the times that's how, we relate to people, is because, the terrible things that you've had to go through and experience, so that way you could get to where you're at today. But honestly, like, when you are able to go through those super negative things or those super hard things, I mean, if you push forward, I mean, it makes you appreciate it that much more, and like even grow that much more, honestly, because if you're just handed to you, it's not the same. I mean, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that question was kind of loaded, because I think the best way to do it is talk to them.
Yeah.
This is what I did. This is here, and then gratitude can go a long, long way. So it's like, well, how bad is it for you? Okay, it's pretty bad. I know somebody that is in a way better worse spot than you.
Right.
So have some gratitude.
Makes it not seem so bad.
Yeah, and look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself that you love yourself, and get motivated and get a job and start moving forward. Mm-hmm. People that can do that, I respect that.
For sure. I mean, even people like you and I, we wouldn't be able to do what we're doing right now if we hadn't went through some things. And so it's good to know that we're all human and that we all go through things. It's all about what you make of it and moving forward.
Circling back to the women putting their dreams on the shelf, I want to tell guys, like, support your woman, man.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do it. I can humbly say that I did not do that. Now, in my defense, I think I was thinking at the time, and it's not an excuse, like, I was just trying to be a man. Mm-hmm. I had to re-identify what a man really is. I thought, man, well, I'm going to make all the money, but, how about those times when you kind of sneak it in and you're like, well, I make all the money. How would you feel as a woman, if I said that? And that it makes you feel like you're not, like, you haven't done anything. Like, I don't do anything.
Yeah.
And it's so not true.
Well, it definitely creates a negative in your relationship, because even though, you're making all the money, like, your wife or your significant other is doing all these extra things at home too. And if I was in that situation, I would feel like a disappointment, or I would feel like I'm not doing enough. I've actually been a stay-at-home mom for just a little while, and that was really hard for me, because I know that, when your person comes home, it's like you automatically feel judged the second that they even get home, because they're like, well, why didn't you do this? You're already at home. Like, why didn't you do that? And that makes it really hard, and it makes you put a damper on yourself and makes you feel like you can't, expand. It makes you feel like you need to do more. And a lot of women, really are hard on themselves for stuff like that. And it's not the case at all. It's just that, a lot of the times the guy's not putting themselves in their perspective, kind of like you had said earlier. So they're not really understanding, or they understand it to an extent, but they're not really feeling what the woman's feeling. So it's hard to relate on that manner unless you're really thinking about it.
Right, and it all really comes down to mindset, because my mindset now is you can't put a dollar amount value on taking care of my kids and feeding my kids and taking care of our house and making sure my clothes are washed and the stuff that we can take for granted, that I took for granted personally for a long, long time. You can't put a dollar amount on that to me now. I feel like it's actually worth more.
Oh, yeah.
It's worth more than money. What's money?
Yeah.
Seriously.
I always say money comes and goes. You can always make more. So, but, I think being in that mindset, and being a stay-at-home mom, I remember even for the short while, I would feel bad about going out and doing anything that costs money, which is everything pretty much, unless you're going to the park. But how many times can you go to the park? You can go a handful of times, but it gets to be a lot, and you just feel bad. But I think, kind of what you guys, or you and Megan were talking about, if I would have had where it was like, what makes you happy? What can I do? So that way we're working together. So that way I don't have to feel as bad about all those situations and everything like that. And I can still feel like I'm of importance, for him and for myself. Then you'll start expanding. You'll start growing. Right.
And I would guess that when some of them bad times, when I did some of those things, Megan never told me.
Yeah.
Megan didn't speak up and be like, you're really hurting me by that. I do a lot, or this and that. And, but flipping back, it's like, build them up, guys.
Yeah.
Build your woman up.
Yeah.
Women, build your guys up too. Encourage them, be proud of them. It needs to be a healthy balance there. But for the women out there that are dealing with that, like I said, I was doing it.
Yeah.
Don't deal with that no more, right?
Yeah.
Because you're never going to be happy.
Right.
How many people waste their entire life because they want to I got to stand by I bet it's bigger than that. It ain't even about really probably standing by your man. It's, I'm not breaking up my family.
Yeah.
I'm not letting my kids go through something that I went through or whatever that might be. So it's like sacrifice. Whole life went by.
Right, yeah.
That's, to me now, looking at it like that, it's traumatic. I'm glad that it was caught. I remember fighting tooth and nail when she wanted to go back to school. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
We're going businesses. We're trying to do this. We were still making a comeback. Mm-hmm. And all she wanted to do was bring her own to the table finally. Yeah. And not because she wanted to stick it to me or be like, see, I'm doing my own thing now. Just because she wanted to be her own individual. And when I realized that and started to embracing that, just got better and better and better and better and better and better and better. So that's good advice today for our audience to encourage your girl, encourage your man, get behind them,
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing even just being able to be on the same page and being able to openly communicate and understand each other's feelings and viewpoints. I don't know how many moms get excited about going to the grocery store without the kids, just having those minutes to themselves. And there's a reason for that. It's because, moms do a lot. They do so much more. And women are naturally very caring and motherly. So they want to make sure that everyone's taken care of. And I know that I myself am a people pleaser. So, I didn't like to ever complain or feel like I was nagging or anything like that. So and I know a lot of women can relate to me on that. So they just hold it all in. And then if there's no communication there and no understanding, then, it's just weighing on you and it makes it a lot harder. But once, your guy can be like, hey, babe, what do you need? What can I help with? Or if she's just I need to go to the gym or I need to go grocery shopping or whatever, it's just amazing, again, by taking care of yourself and just those little things, what a difference it can do for you and your family, just like you said, starting at home.
I actually can remember looking back on it where Megan would never ask me to do anything.
I was like that too.
Right?
Yeah.
Because she don't want to distract my day, disrupt my day,
Yep.
and get me agitated because I'm already doing everything.
Yeah.
Right? Right? And looking back at it, man, like there's some regret there, but moving forward, if you make the change and change the mindset, you know, flowers can grow from that negative experience.
For sure.
You know, and I just encourage everybody, just if you're not happy, if things ain't working out, move on.
Yeah.
If don't sacrifice your entire life and give up all your goals and dreams because somebody else selfishly want to just focus on their own.
Yeah.
You know, another thing that I remember is that I used to always be like, how come you're not intimate? How come you're not, like, you know, where's the love stuff? Like, where? How come I'm not seeing that? How come you don't give me a kiss goodnight? Why am I always giving you a kiss goodnight?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of hard to, like, be intimate with someone and love somebody when I'm subconsciously, or not subconsciously, but like indirectly mentally abusing you. Like, how do you want to love me? How do you want to be intimate with me? Right. So what do you got to fake? You know, like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I know,
right.
I know you know where I'm coming from, and it's like when that shifted. When the support started coming, where I start bringing Q to school or picking him up, or I run to the grocery store and do those little things where, especially now that she's got her career and she's busy with her stuff, I mean, that becomes where there's not as much time, right? Where you start equally helping, intimacy started happening. Mm-hmm. You know, like, oh, you do love me.
Right. You're filling her cup.
Right, I loved you all the time, but I was just getting sick of you, so like, how am I going to show you, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just encourage our audience to just, like, focus on how you're treating your significant other, male or female. I just thought it was an angle that we could take, knowing what I went through with Megan, and I showing some humility by saying, like, I was doing this.
Yeah.
And didn't even realize it until I realized it, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm not breaking no generation gap here. I'm not breaking the chain or the cycle, because this is exactly how my dad treated my mom mentally.
Yeah. I know how that goes.
You know, well, I didn't hit her though.
Yeah.
You know, like those, and there's going to be some people in our audience that is probably thinking that guy's got to shut the hell up.
No.
But I'm just being honest. I'm
mean,
just speaking the truth. It's like, I don't want to mentally abuse anybody. I'm not going to sit here in a podcast and talk all positive and then go home and mentally abuse my significant other.
Right.
I don't want to be that phony person. And I just encourage people to, like, watch your words, watch how you're treating each other, and really care about each other. But bigger than that, focus on you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to wrap this up, but I want to talk about, like, just real quick, you can't get anywhere unless you start loving yourself. You just can't. You can't. I can't. I knew that I started loving my own kids that I love more than anything in the world once I started loving and caring about myself. Mm-hmm. So instead of focusing on your significant other right away, focus on yourself. Because if you start focusing on yourself and start caring about yourself and challenging yourself and changing your mindset, habits, all that stuff, you're going to realize, I've been wrong here, like I did.
Right.
You know, and then I'm like, I'm trying to be everything that I wasn't taught. I'm trying to teach my kids and my family what a real dad is, what a real man is, what a real husband is, not anything else.
Yeah.
Got anything else to say?
I mean, I think, you know, one of the most important things is to be able to speak your truth and be able to, like, see things for what they are versus what you want them to be. And then, you know, like, just be able to understand, like, that it's okay. And as long as you know and you can acknowledge that you're going through these things, like, being able to acknowledge that you're going through a hard time and acknowledge that this is what's going on, like, is growth, because then you know that you can change that and counteract to that, so that way you can do better for your family and for yourself, and that's just the way it goes.
I completely agree. You know, last thing I want to tell you is keep living with that faith.
Yeah.
You know, when I tracked you down and I was like, I really believe in this girl. I think that she's got a lot to give, a lot that you can share with the world and be that beacon of hope.
Yeah.
And I would love to team up with you again. I think that there's some things in the future that we can do together that can help our community and
I'm for that.
help people around us. So thank you.
I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for coming.
Thank you.
Give me a hug.
The PepTalk Podcast.